quarters, maybe. Judges are a little tough on them bulls. I like them bulls a little better than they are today.
Well, like I said,
but
go
down
and talk to Sean.
They're not too far off.
Yeah.
I'm talking a quarter of a point. That's not much to gripe about.
So this is Junio Quaresma, who got in as a late addition this weekend when Cooper Quaresma able to make the trip here to Chicago in time, and now he faces It's Time.
Without just knowing the history on this boy, I think this is another airtime calf. Anything with air in it or time coming from Phenom, I think it's going to be back through and showing their stuff.
And that's Matt Sharping. We talked about him on last night's show. Again, he and his partner starting to take a lot of these young bulls through that rodeo circuit.
Run. You go out west and north, and where the weather's pretty during the Julangum here, and try them against the very best guys in the world.
We all can see Junio's on the clock. It's now under 20 seconds. We haven't had a disqualification due to time. Now under 10.
There's you a shot.
Junio's done. It's time. Just basically outworked him.
Big, slow, powerful jumps. You know, nothing's. It looked like he may even slapped him right there the first or second jump. But just big, slow, lumbering jumps there. And boy, that when you're ready for something to crack and spin and go fast, then you have to back that timing off. Man, it's hard to keep up.
He reigns to none other than Shorty Gorham and Jesse Byrne. Guys, it's your show. Take it away.
I feel like we're trying to lose our audience right now is what I really, no, I'm just kidding. This is actually going to be fun. You know, a lot of people I think don't realize kind of the conversations that we have out here. It's going to be fun to give everybody kind of an inside look, and a lot of times we're not near as serious as people think we are out here. So it'll be fun to see what everybody thinks when we're done with this.
You got to keep it light, right? I mean, you get too serious about a job like this, and you'll talk yourself out of it real quick.
Reaction time than it is. Yeah, and it's always easier to do your job when you're having fun.
Shorty, I know this matchup's one we talked about in the locker room before.
I expect it to go the same way it did there. You know, this is a guy that he's been out a little bit with injuries and had some troubles in the past, but this is a guy that I really expect to be in the top tier riders. That's how talented this guy is. And, you know, JW talked about it. We get to see it day in and day out. I think we take it for granted sometimes how tough this guy really is, but that's just the nature of the beast, Jesse. And I think you don't have to be tough to do this game, but Dave sure helps.
It does. I think Colton reminds me a lot of Tanner. He's a taller bull rider. My brother Tanner for those years, and I think it's just a different style of bull riding, and it really factors into our job. You got a big, tall guy like Colton. He's going to have to keep his moves to a minimal, stay small as possible, and you know, if I see a guy like Colton getting raised up, I know that's our cue, because these big, tall guys, when they even get the slightest bit out of position, often it's something they're unable to recover from.
Well, and out here, I think it's important to go with your gut feeling. Cody Webster just kind of gives you said we might see a hang-up right here, so just be on your A game ready for it.
We're good.
Good job, brother. Way to keep hustling, brother. Good job.
Good job, Shorty.
There's one. We actually have a bet, guys. We like to have fun with Flint out here, and we told him that we were going to be on air during this segment, so don't come up here and cuss while our mics run. Not really. He doesn't have a problem doing that, but we had a bet, see how many times he's going to come visit us.
I'm going 5.
He never comes and visits us. But now.
That's one.
Do what? Yeah, we need you. You're next.
When it comes down to it, we really got to take these riders' health into account. I know Allison was a guy I seen in sports medicine prior to the event, so guys, I think he's probably going to be a little slow getting up and out of here on this one.
This bull's going to want him right over the front that second jump, too. Jerking on him hard. He's a little strong right there.
Yeah, he's good today.
Yeah, he wasn't as long out of there, but he's still strong.
That's right, Webb.
Power, right?
Strong, isn't he?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm about tired of picking sand out of my eyes.
Oh, that's something. We've teased that this is kitty litter here, but I'll tell you what, this stuff it's crushed limestone, and it gets in your eyes a lot just because of the texture of it, and it sticks to those bulls' feet just long enough so they can kick it in your eyes, and this stuff burns. I'm going to go from here, but you're going to have red eyes. They're going to suspect bad things.
Back to Dalen. I feel like I've seen this guy get on more bulls than anyone I could possibly think of. I think he told me prior to the show it was something like 200 head last year. So
well, he's tough. That's why he's the newest member of the U.S. Border Patrol. Jesse.
Go on, Dalen. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving.
There it is.
Keep down there. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving.
He's slow, guys.
Hey.
We're good.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good try, Cowboy. Bull
Good,
rat.
keep posting, brother. Good job. Keep it up. Remembering where we're at.
What spot in rotation?
Yeah. That rotation actually has nothing to do with anything out here. The only reason we do it is because it just kind of keeps us fresh, keeps us working different positions. You don't get stale to one angle all the time. So I don't have a favorite pot. What about you?
Yeah, I don't mind. I like to keep it fresh, like you said. But I spoke a little bit earlier about guys being slow. Unfortunately, I think Fabiano's going to be in that same crowd today. Had a rough landing. We're going to need to buy him a little extra time. I know Wham Bam's typically a bull that's got some attitude too. So
He banged up that other bit. You can tell he doesn't really want to get out on him right now. So. Jesse, when they're slow like that, what kind of goes through your mind? What do you
a lot of your AFB freestyle bullfighting. It kind of kicks back into that gear, bull locked up with you in full control, so that guy can find his bearings and get away out of there. So definitely takes good teammates like you guys, because I know I wouldn't be diving in there in such a compromise.
One thing to follow up, running up there, but even when a guy's slow like that, I like to, one of us, if I'm not sure he was going to turn. Speaking of turn, Greg Hummer. I think we've W Hart this weekend, so take it away.
I don't know. You cannot get more inside the game for doing that. And J-Dub, that really is a great inside look is the communication.
Good matchup, too. This bull can be out around that into that gate to the right. And I think Triplet really well matched one of the guys on the Global Cup team coming up. And
that was 88 1/4. If he can ride constant suckers or better, he'll move to the top. That was through everything, including the kitchen sink. The judges felt.
I'm not understanding that you have to make the whistle to get the re-ride. That either. So
that's it.
So good news for Matt Triplett and his shoots going up against Ragnar. Going up against Ragnar.
Dakota, I don't know if he'd be the captain, but I would think he's probably the captain of that team, and for good reason. This guy is one of the better Canadians we've seen come south in some time. On bulls that go up and down and away from his hand, he rides really good, and this one should fit the bill.
Well, we've been mentioning Dalen Swearingen, head of Dakota Butter, back in November. Kick that. Heard Shorty get very vocal, trying to make sure Dakota knew to get safe. Then, of course, Jesse Byrne, Cody Webster there as well.
The good thing about Dakota is he keeps his back straight. You hear McBride say it about him all the time, keeping his back straight.
Eduardo Parasito spending some time at the office today. And the weekend is over.
Leaves there, you watch him, he doesn't really break over, he doesn't kick, he kind of hits on all fours. Right here, he doesn't break over and kick, and all 4 feet hit the ground at the same time. Well, it just sets you flat of your butt, and then the bull just leaps forward and lunges and goes the other way. It's hard to get that weight back up on the calf, and it's the most helpless feeling, and he just went through it, and I know how he feels.
You mentioned now Mighty Mouse was a little crazy last week. That was when he had this man, Dylan Smith.
And I know he gets bucked off here, but to talk about it on last year, he was having off here, but I've seen him as the year progressed last year and the first part of this year. He's really matured in his riding and can ride those better, a little bit better bulls. And I think he's headed in the right direction. This is a kid that we'll see more of real soon.
Yeah, no question.
You were talking about yesterday his decision to take that re-ride bull. And he told me it was all strategy. He said if this was New York City and it was a 3-day event, he wouldn't have taken him. He said, I knew I had to be good on 2 to really have that mentality is what I'm going with.
When your strategy is to win, that's all you can go with. Go time and let that aggregate or average world championships, average titles, let that work itself out.
And as
go win the go-around.
It's our current world number 1. That's part of the simplification process again with the point system this year. They tweaked it so that winning matters even more for things like the 15-15 bucking battle.
And that's where you talk about Mason Taylor spending time at Cody Lambert's, and Lambert simply is staying on and winning.
Is on this occasion, and to JW's point, you're not going to win anything in making it to 8 seconds. JRV does it against Gangster. 87 points.
And really good bull ride. This JR doesn't fall for any of it. He stays dead center, moving that outside foot just enough to keep him the weight going down that inside leg. Excellent bull ride.
He's with Kate.
You knew you had to be a lot of points to make it back on 1. How did you make the most of that ride?
So much. So the people share for me, and I'm so glad for this.
It's a great atmosphere here in Chicago. Well done.
Thank you.
Craig.
I love that he's highlighting he gets motivated by this crowd. Meanwhile, round number 1 in his debut event, trying to move amongst the top dogs.
Keep moving, keep moving. Keep going, there you go.
Guess what? Good corrections, JW, to stay in that ride versus
He had 20-point bullish in that range. You know, so did he had made those mistakes on a bull that easy? No. So he still got with a few corrections, he's got a shot at him.
Let's send it back down to Kate.
Processing it. Did you like what you saw?
Oh, I'm just really thankful to be here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Craig.
Bradley told me yesterday he was not intimidated at all. He's seen them on the Velocity Tour, and that's one of the great things about how these riders cross-pollinate all the different levels of PBR bull riding. Meanwhile, Alan DeSosa prepping against Hammer Henry.
Another one of those phenom genetic bulls can be either direction back on him. His back is literally 1.5 feet across. This bull's all there.
That big of a canvas to sit on, does that change how a rider can do certain things?
Well, yeah and no. I mean, there's a bigger seat there, bigger center of gravity, but it adds to the strength of these bulls. When they've got big shoulders and big necks and big broad backs, it means they weigh more. If you have the speed as one of them little bulls, then you run into a real difficulty.
Ahead of us, we have moved on to Cody Teal. He's facing, joining the likes of Dalen Swearingen, Kaiki Pacheco. We just saw Bradley Britton there.
Yeah, and you can look at this bull's back across his shoulders there. It's a little bit narrower.
And you can see, I don't think there were enough re-ride flags for the judges to throw on this occasion. And you know Cody Teal.
Computer screen all day and doesn't get anything done. It happens in the bull industry too. The bulls just don't have a good day.
What are you talking about, guys that just go to computers?
Thinking, what am I doing? I don't know.
Is it going to be Alan DeSosa? Are we going to go to Derek Kolbaba? Who's in the chutes? It's Alan, and he's ready still. Yeah, that's a very good look now that he's actually standing up. You can see the size.
Yeah, this bull's got a big broad back on him, big, strong, probably going to jump in that air, and I don't know that he'll have the speed that we're talking that DeSosa is.
Here we go. Hammer Harry out of the chute right as the gate swung open, and then you could see Alan DeSosa just look.
That bull just kind of folded out there. Yeah, he hit him. Now, if you give those other guys a reride, I think you have to give this one that option as well.
Yeah, and we're hearing, and now
he hit him there, and I don't think it caused the Buckeye back.
And expand that point for a second, J-Dub, because I know whether it's you, Justin, or Ty, what you guys want to see, of course, is consistency from the judges, and we just heard.
And it is consistent. They give him a rerun. You can get it either way, I suppose.
Meanwhile, for Dalen Swearingen, it's just a waiting game at this moment. Will he go into the ride, as are Ezekiel Mitchell, Aaron Klyer, and Lucas Davino? We're going to start with a guy who had it all going on. Derek Kolbaba had the can-do attitude in round number 1 aboard
Mark, but they only got to ride him. 8.0.
That's something every day, Craig. I tell you, we're going to be kind of the opposite, being a guy that grew up on bulls like he got on last night. This little bull right here, he kind of hop, skip out there a little bit, and then Derek's a guy that's so talented. I expect this guy to ride each and every bull, and that consistency is going to come at any moment. When he does, he's going to be a contender, I do believe.
Has the same or even higher degree of difficulty as Mind Freak did last night, but they have a completely different style that skip and roll and duck and dive like Shorty was talking about. The degree of difficulty, and leave it to Kolbaba to Drew in both rounds, the most difficult one in each round. So he's had his work cut out for him all weekend.
Adaptability is back in Nashville at the Music City Knockout last year. Derek is going to have to be satisfied with his 87 1/4 and where that
fast jump, and he looked one direction, and Kolbaba just dives around that corner. He said hop, skip right there, and he just moves around there too far, and the bull just feels him and says, okay, I can switch directions on a dime and give you a little bit of change, and he does just that, and he couldn't keep up with it.
His 87 1/4 has him tied for 9th, which will still be a decent pick in the draft. Meanwhile, another man who had 87 1/4 in round 1, he's an opportunity, and he now faces Slingshot.
And what a good one he got in the route that's into his hand, just what he wanted. The degree of difficulty between this and his first bull, Slinging Tears, is way off. The other one I would give around that 8 mark out of 10, and this one's going to be in that 6 to 7 mark, and I like the matchup.
If not, big chance for the 19.
Oh, flat. All right.
Shorty called the slap. Slow, unfortunately, to get up right now. Slingshot did indeed get the last shot and the final say once Cravens was off.
And that bull looked to the right there and just takes him another jump or two and goes left, and that's a tough way to go down too. He's up on his neck right here. He's trying to reach and go out the outside. Comes on down the inside and loose.
We haven't really highlighted yet, but Cannon Cravens, there was a question mark midweek whether he'd even be here but he just decided he wasn't going to get x-rays. He said he couldn't afford to rest. Lucas DeVroba show.
And I said earlier there was about 7 or 8 of these bulls that could be in this championship round on any given day, and this is one of them. Has a big hop, bad shape or anything, but he has these bulls so full right now, and they look so good. Big flat backs on them, and the strength that they bring when they do that. Chad Berger's to be commended on the shape he has these bulls in.
Okay, so I want you to stretch that out a little bit like Taffy.
These bulls, and it's something to grow a bull during the winter months, and he does it.
5 3/4 to move to the lead. He faces ZZ Top. David was hoping to make some sweet music aboard ZZ Top. The bull left the chute in a very unorthodox manner. Meanwhile, after just bouncing up and down for a while, once he got into that spin, Triplet seemed...
Right here, he's like, okay, I'm getting sleepy, I'm getting tired, everything's okay. Oh, where are you going?
Yeah.
And just missed the boat. I mean, one just lulled him to sleep.
Sits on 88 1/4, which has got it. With his customary flair, he's going to leave the chute against Drop the Hammer.
Expect to start making that move up and really mature into one of those world champions.
Drop the Hammer, drop Zeke off.
But like we talked about a little bit earlier, and it's hard to fight that off. He almost does it, wasn't able to today.
Chip round, we're a few rides away from making it. And against Mason's Missouri Golden, not pass.
Well, and he has a really good seat off down the arena. tips him into his hand right here. Rope will roll to the end of your fingers, and you really lose a hold of it. And it's kind of hard for us to see that. It's hard to stay on.
This is Cody Teal, and while you were working through your commentary, J-Dub, Cyclone absolutely lived up back.
Yeah, another one of those bulls that wins with far, and I just couldn't keep up. Just watch the speed, how fast that bull's going. I mean, it's hard enough to make those moves in slow motion. But
done for the weekend. Brock Radford trying to get on the board score. Yellow. Radford, I think, is going to get called actually for touching the ground early. Another big rider following Cody Teal. The clock stopped at 7.17.
Yeah. Word, he didn't have a very good day. He just kind of wheels out around there. He has a 41 day, but you know what? If it was 41, 42, and you can dress him up in them, at least try. Why give up and not try?
Very good question, my friend. Meanwhile, Alan DeSosa is going to try this ball.
And this is the one that everybody wants. He's going to kick and spin right there. You know, this is the guy that
catches Buckeye Bill at just over 6 seconds. So it's a 2-for-2 weekend for the Bull, but the Brazilians go 0-for-2.
Yeah, and this is a bull that you wouldn't expect one of the best guys in the world to get bucked off of. He's up underneath himself. He's got good kick, good timing, good speed, everything just what you want. Maybe just a little too perfect.
So, we are down to our final 2 riders of round number 2. They just happen to be 2 of the biggest names in the sport. Last year's runner-up, Jose Vitor Leme, about to get aboard Blue Crush, a bull he has bested before.
And this is a good matchup.
Move all the way into the number 1 position. He only needs 85 3/4. Last night's show talking about how awesome this sport is and this period for this sport, to see not only Lemmy and Lockwood, of course, but all these great riders on any given weekend go.
Guys in the world competing against each other on the same field under the same. Aaron Rodgers is competing against a rookie this week, or Peyton Manning's against another guy a certain week. They're all in the same, are at the absolute best right now.
And how about that? The latest example of why he does not follow the script we all thought he would do, and Lemmy goes off to the side at 5.
Bad part, but he's so good at getting it back in front of him. You see how it goes behind it, twists those hips, back in front. And that bull beats him around that next corner, and it pulls him to the outside. Right here, he's back, and it goes to the back again. From that point, wasn't able to get it done.
Could have been big, a 44-point team in the tie for 6th. We have one final man who will leave the chute hoping to affect the top 15 standings. Overall, he only needs 85 points aboard Pancho Villa to move to the back to the lead.
And now we talk about that rider over bull score. This is where this guy shines, because you talk about the guys that commonly come in over their bulls. It's these little guys. It's the guys that has the flash. He can make a bull look more difficult, just pushes them up with that upper body movement. That tends to move him 2 to 3 points over those bulls, so he can have that common bull and make him look more difficult. It's not that the judges are out just giving him points. He makes these bulls look harder than they are, but in all essence, he makes it look better on his side as well.
Kate Messie's there to help Jess Lockwood stay safe. Ho, ho, ho! Our top 2 riders in the world back-to-back. Surprise again. Pancho Villa, definitely the upper hand against our defending PBR world champ. Wow.
And I mean, just late one corner, one step, and just rips him out of there. Good bull by K-Bar C. We're going to see a 43 mark.
Biggest ripple, or the biggest consequence that's going to be felt based on those 2 buck-offs, is 20-year-old Dalen Swearingen is going to have 5 championship rounds last year, converted once. His best was twice he was 5th overall, but Dalen Swearingen poised after winning, it seemed, at will at the end of last year. Swearingen poised to win his first Premier Series event of his career. That cut line, as Kate mentioned, it is going to drop down to Gage Gay. He will find himself in, speaking of Dalen, he's with Kate.
And JW mentioned it. You and Chad Berger just talking about him as well. Big Black, you said that's who you're going with. He sent 5 guys to the winner's circle a season ago. How excited are you for your opportunity to match up with him?
I'm really excited that I got this opportunity, and now I'm just going to make the most out of it.
Before the last few riders, you looked at me and said, first time they have been on this side of the draft. Typically, you're left with one at the bottom. How different is your mentality going into this championship round?
Oh, it's a less.
Best of luck coming up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Craig.
We can all see it in his eyes. He is already